1984, the first.
ESPN and the Professional Bowlers Association present the $125,000 Celebrity Denver Open. Let's preview today's top five. Second-year pro Mike Shady, who finished second in Fresno just 2 weeks ago, will open up championship round play against last week's Kessler Classic champion Brian Goebel of Merriam, Kansas. The winner of that opening match will then take on 33-year-old Curtis Odom of Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Making his second straight appearance in the championship round is five-time titleist Parker Bohn III. And holding down the top seed position for the second time in 3 weeks is 27-year-old John Mazza, who will be trying to become the third three-time winner on the PBA Tour this year. Welcome to spacious Celebrity Sports Center located in Denver, Colorado for the championship round finals of the $125,000 Celebrity Denver Open. Hi, everybody. I'm Denny Schreiner, and welcome to the Mile High City. And no, this is not a repeat of last year's, or I should say last week's, Kessler Classic, even though we have three of the same top five finalists on this week's show as we did a week ago in Riverside. Michael, why are these three players back on the telecast 2 weeks in a row?
Well, we're talking about Parker Bohn, John Mazza, and Brian Goebel. And the reason that they're on, I think, is twofold. First, the PBA Lane Maintenance Program is putting out a similar shot week after week, and these guys obviously have figured out how to play that shot. The second reason, Dan, I think, is confidence. Their confidence level is at an all-time high. And we all know that when we do anything, if we have confidence in doing it, we can do it better. Tonight, we'll see which one has the most confidence and wins the tournament.
A year ago, you could best describe John Mazza as a journeyman pro, a player who had not yet won a championship, although he had come close on a couple of different occasions. Here in 1991, he's become a dominating player. Why has that happened?
Well, I think there's a number of reasons, Dan. One, he's been to a sports psychologist. He's revamped his mental game, and he's become much more focused. Second, he's gotten a lot of help on his physical game, and he really knows his physical game right now, and every decision that he's making lately is the right one. In this particular tournament, he played both inside and outside. He switched bowling balls. When he made those changes, he picked the right ball in the right angle. It remains to be seen whether he can make the right decisions for one more game.
We also should mention that three of our top five also shot 300 games this week. We'll be back with the start of match number one from Celebrity Sports Center after this. The championship round finals of the $125,000 Celebrity Denver Open are being brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers, who reminds you friends know when to say when. And by Citizen, official timer of the America's Cup 92. And coming up next, the opening match, last week's champ, Brian Goebel, will try and make it two in a row as he takes on Mike Shady.
Good times with friends, hey, they're special. Sometimes you wish they would never end. The care show is just right. Special. Friends know when to say when.
The family of Budweiser beers is proud of all the friendships they've helped make. So when they remind you to please use the designated driver, it's all in the name of friendship.
Friends know when to say when.
Citizen ProMaster Diver's Chronograph. Digital depth sensor. Elapsed dive time alarm.
So, exactly how long have you been a diver?
Citizen ProMaster. For professional use only.
You don't have to worry when rain keeps pouring down, 'cause you're home to take it, whatever comes around. We got something here to get you through the years.
Olympic Oil Stain has pure linseed oil. Since oil and water don't mix, it helps stop water damage.
It's no wonder we'll stop the rain.
Olympic stops the rain.
For 35 years, Midas has been providing quiet, installing quality products for clean, safe, and quiet driving.
Well, it's time we made some noise. Midas announces Quiet Riot Day.
We're celebrating our anniversary with great values on quality muffler, brake, and suspension services. Guaranteed. So get to the riot, and we'll provide the quiet. The Midas Quiet Riot. For great values, nobody beats Midas.
Nobody.
In about 10 minutes, you can either begin making fresh brewed iced tea or
Now, you can begin drinking it. The iced teapot by Mr. Coffee, the modern way to make old-fashioned iced tea.
The last time the PBA Tour was here in Denver, Colorado was back in 1985 when Mike Goble captured his 11th championship. We do have two left-handers on the telecast here this afternoon, Mike, and they've qualified first and second.
You know, even I was still bowling back there then, so that was back in ancient history.
I'm glad you said that. First good look at Mike Shady, a former three-time All-American out of the University of Nebraska. And he flirts with the lip and strikes on the left-hand lane.
I think he had given up on that shot. I just think he was afraid it was going in, but it banked back.
I might add during practice that we've seen more than one shot end up in the channel.
In the blue board.
The long blue board. Yeah, that's exactly where Brian Goebel will play. Out on the 1 or 2 board, and we more than likely will see a variety of these here this afternoon.
The 2-4-10, the right lane seems to be a little bit tighter, Dan, and the players have been having trouble having that ball get back. In other words, hook back. But when they go straight at it, then it goes high. So it could make for some interesting adjustments for these guys. Throws it straight. Too much.
A good run by Goble, but an open in the opening frame.
We've seen this form before. 6 steps. He holds that ball up high. Doesn't move it. From now on, it's a 4-step delivery. Look at how steady the head is. High backswing and the long slide.
Now this time Goble shakes him up a little bit and comes back with a key strike. But I think you're right. Let's see what Mike does with the right-hand lane. There seems to be a hang spot at the 1 or 2 board.
Well, it looks like for the right-handers anyway, the ones, the player that can figure out this lane 62 here at Celebrity Sports Center is going to be the one that's going to knock down the most pins.
Beautiful shot, light hit. Shady opens up with a very quick double and leads by 22.
You know, Mike finished second a couple of weeks ago to John Mazza, who's our tournament leader now. And I talked to him earlier and asked him, you know, what's the difference? Why are you bowling so well now? And he said that he had gotten burned out and his mind had been more or less fried. He went to a sports psychologist who gave him some tips on self-talk and how to relax. And he's just having more fun enjoying the sport bowling.
Well, last night during a 5-game stretch, he averaged 256 while winning 5 straight matches as he opens the door back up for Goble here in the 3rd.
And it's big trouble. The 1, 2, 4, 6, 10. Let's see how he shoots it. There's a couple of schools of thought on this particular spare. One says to cross over to the left side of the head pin and drive the head pin into the 610. Other players move left and throw the ball straight, hit the head pin on the right, and have the ball deflect in the 610. Going for the left.
Wraps the head pin right around, and so a valiant effort by Mike Shady, but after he opens, Goble's down by just 3, but he's working on a strike.
And Brian is very good at making these transition adjustments as the lanes change. He's able to change.
More loft, more hit, more roll, and no more 2-4-10.
Interesting. You can really see he lifted up on that one a lot more. And there's his wife, Kelly. I talked to her, and she said, hey, this is a nice habit to get in being here every week.
She flew in a little earlier this week than last week. She had no time to spare when we were in Los Angeles last week. I don't even think she got to see the practice shots, but she was there from the opening frame.
You know, Brian is working on the string. 6 consecutive victories on ESPN. Looking for number 7 right here. That's match play victories.
Well, that one came off nice. Maybe a little too nice. 3-6-10 left on lane 61.
Just a little smooth with that shot, and lane 61 seems to hook back harder for the players. 3-6-10. I saw him practicing this shot in the practice session. Straight at it. Ooh! Just enough.
It's a little early to be that concerned, don't you think? He knew he had it all the way. Let's see if Mike Shady can come back with a strike. Down by 4. Boy, a very similar hit for him on the right-hand lane.
Well, he seems to, his last couple of practice shots in that right lane, he left the 210 or the 2810, and he was shaking his head. Holds the ball waist high, 5-step delivery, pushes it out now. Ball's just a little early right there. A little over shoulder high in the backswing. Now the nice long slide. And follow through with the left arm out there, nice and square. How you want to teach your young player to finish at that foul line.
Trying for another double. And the 7-pin gets tickled and wobbles, but will not fall. What we should point out right now, though, is throughout most of the week, especially last night, when you threw the ball to the 1 or 2 board, you knew it was hooking back.
Well, sometimes on the championship round, different things happen, and you have to make that adjustment then and go with what's out there right then and there. Can't be thinking about what was there all week long.
Excellent crowds on hand all week here at Celebrity Sports Center. A wonderful complex, multi-million-dollar facility.
Big swimming pool here.
Oh, yeah.
A nice long slide going down into the pool.
We didn't have to catch that flight. I was going to try the slide. Of course, you and I have been sliding for years, so. Oh, my.
Well,
that one was out of bounds at 15 feet.
Right.
That's called reload, and I'm hitting 3 off the tee.
And Brian doesn't want to look at this one again. He's trying to get it out to the first board, and we see where this one hits about the 7th or 8th board, so he missed a little bit left, and this is the result.
He missed by a handful.
Yeah. The 139. Goes it straight at the spare and still misses it. So his string of consecutive victories on ESPN is in jeopardy right here.
Down by 10 at the midway point. Seen a number of opens already. Scores were very high this week and averaged better than 220 to get to the final 5. Winner of this match takes on Curtis Odom and Parker Bohn III, and our top seed for the second time in the last 3 weeks, John Mazza. Well, a beautiful comeback shot. Kelly approves. Now the question is, will he be able to double up? And, of course, here's a look at the 1960 official celebrity groundbreaking. Spike Jones, Jack Benny, John Payne, and, of course, the movie genius, Walt Disney, all involved in the project here in Denver.
The Dodge Spirit. Last year in consumer comparisons, 39 out of 50 people preferred the Spirit to Honda Accord. It has a longer powertrain warranty than the Honda, more interior room, and a driver's airbag. So what are you waiting for? A deal? All right. We're now offering savings and incentives of up to $2,250. Rediscover a great American family car value. The Dodge Spirit.
It's the Coors Light Rock and Roll Summer. Yes, the beer that won't fill you up. We'll be dancing its can off all summer long. Just visit the display and look for the specially marked cans, and you could instantly win Carver's Ultimate Stereo System, Cost stereo phones, 10 and portable CD players, and cassettes from Capitol Records. We know it's only Coors Light Rock and Roll Summer, but we like it.
It's setting a trap for Chi-Chi. It's lying in wait for Lee. It's lurking in the shadows for Arnie. The seniors attack a new course at the Bell Atlantic Classic today, live on ESPN.
And while we were gone, in the 6th frame, he converted the 3-6-9-10, but now here's Shady in the 7th.
And again, he's high for 2 frames in a row. Boy, when you hit the nose twice in a row and come away with spares, you're very fortunate. As he shoots at the 610 and has it. Lost 6 pins in count, though, and his lead is only 4 pins right now. Goble, if he can figure out anything on this right lane, has really got an opportunity here to keep that string going.
I'm just wondering if he hung up in the last shot on this lane or if he just missed by 5 boards. We'll find out. Money aloft, a beautiful double for Brian Goebel. And, you know, he's had a remarkable run on ESPN. He's bowled very well on the summer tour, and I asked him about that. What's been the key for him?
Well, I think in the summertime you come out here and you kind of look forward to playing a little golf and relaxing a little bit. It's warmer out here. You can kind of relax in the sun, and it's just a lot more fun. So mentally you kind of relax a little bit, and I think it helps your game a lot.
And back to live action with a 6-pin lead, maybe a 16-pin advantage if he strikes. Ooh, 2-pin wobbled around just a little bit, but he was fortunate to leave just...
And he's happy with just that. He sent it wide on that lane. He has a tendency, it looks like as I'm sitting here, yes, right behind him, to drift a little left, and it's not always exactly the same. It looked like he drifted a little bit further left that time, and the ball didn't make it back. I throw it hard and straight right at the 2-pin. Has it. And it's not a high-scoring match then, but it's certainly close. 5 pins the difference with 2.5 frames to go.
Mike Shady left at 369.10 the last time on lane 62.
All right. Big shot coming up for Mr. Shady right now, trailing by 5, going to the 9th frame. A lane that he's only had 1 strike on. That was where he opened the match. So
possible 215.
Takes the lead, though, and sets himself up for the 10th if he can strike here in the 9th.
And would also be able to dictate his own destiny.
Correct. Left of target. Held for the 4-pin. Maybe it wasn't so far left. He might have made an adjustment, but I'm sitting right behind him. That ball went over about the 4th board at the arrows, and he has been swinging a little bit wider.
Although you might be right. He might have decided to tighten up the lane a little bit, throw the ball a little harder.
And a little straighter, yeah. I always went by that game plan, but
that was what you did best. Even when you were hooking it, Mike, you were still throwing it fairly straight. I hate to tell you that, but the videotape does not lie. If you crossed 6 or 7 boards, Mike, you were ripping the finger holes out.
Yeah, that's pretty good. 6 or 7 boards.
I was generous there.
Ninth frame, Mr. Goble.
Oh, my. Way, way, way out on the edge and the familiar 2-4, 10.
Has to go for this, Dan. Went just a little bit too far left when he left it back in the 1st frame. If he converts it, he's still ahead by 2 pins. If he doesn't, he can drop behind by 10.
Trying to slide it over and gets way too much of the 2-pin. So an open frame in the 9th for Goble. Now his best possible score would be 186, and he's obviously upset with himself.
Well, when you're ahead in the match and you open to give your opponent the lead, it's hard to regroup and refocus and come back. But that's exactly what he has to do. He has to put himself back together here and get that first one on the 10th. And he's just lost on both lanes then. Leaves a 3-6-10. He needs to make this to force Mike Shady to mark in the 10th frame. And that's not a given.
Not at this point in time. Shady with 4 strikes thus far in the match. And 3 of the 4 have been on the right-hand lane.
Yeah.
That better hook.
Ooh, it did. We were sitting right behind it, and I thought he'd missed it, too.
By a fraction, and you can see Brian disappointed with, I think, the shot not only in the 9th, but the first one in the 10th. Because you want to put some kind of pressure on your opponent. You want to make him show up in the 10th frame if he's going to win.
Well, plus, you know, he had the hammer in his hand. He had the match well in hand, a double, and he's going to win the match.
Set that one down a little shorter, and the result wasn't much better. A frustrated Brian Goebel walks off and says, I did everything I could, made every shot I could make, and I still only posted 173.
Still forces Mr. Shady to mark to win. Mike takes very little time. Once he steps up on the approach, He gets himself set and goes very quickly. Well,
oh, my. Well,
when in doubt,
sometimes you get the breaks, and sometimes you get 5th place, which is where Brian Goebel ended up
you could just see the thinking in his mind saying, I don't want a 210 or a 2.810. I'm going to make sure I get it up there, and he got it enough to get a Brooklyn. But he's a winner right now. He's got enough right now.
The 25-year-old second-year pro from Ripon, Wisconsin, wins his first game, and it was more just survival of the fittest, and that's exactly what he could have left if he'd have given himself an opportunity to. You're right, Mike. Shady wins game number 1. When we come back, Mike Durbin with another average builder here on ESPN.
Hey, Jenny, come show your granddad how to set this VCR thing.
Okay. Input the TV channel to match the station you want to record. Press store. Then, if the event is in the first 7-day period.
At the Prudential, we believe some things can't be explained with a lot of fancy talk. So when it comes to life insurance...
Maybe we should cover that last part again.
We won't let you get it until you've got it. Your piece of the rock.
If you want to keep repair costs down, remember, Fram oil filters protect your engine better because they stop more dirt the first time through than any other filter. Fram, you can pay a little now or a lot later.
This bench gets a professional finish with Krylon spray paint. No runs, no drips, no errors. Dries to the touch in minutes. The other brand's still tacky. Wow, what a game.
Good game, Mr. Euchre.
He's a lot tougher than he looks. For a fast, smooth, professional finish, get Krylon.
Average Builders is brought to you by Pizza Hut, home of the new Italian classic combo. Pizza Hut, making it great.
For this afternoon's average builder, I thought I'd like to take a look at the last step in the approach, that is the slide. And the bowler that I like for you to particularly watch this afternoon is our number 2 player, Parker Bohn. Notice what a nice long slide he has and how that slide is right underneath his chin for good balance on every shot. Well, let's take a look at that slide. First, we want to look at what we shouldn't do, but unfortunately what most of us do. When we hit the next to last step, if we're a right-handed bowler, all of my weight, or most of it, is on my right foot. My left toe is still on the ground, and I'm ready to go into the slide. Now, what most of us do at this point is we pick up the left foot and we set it down here to start our slide. And what happens then is the heel of my shoe, which is rubber, really grabs the lane too, or the approach too quickly, and causes me to what is known as short slide. And when I short slide, that affects my release, and I have an inconsistent release. Well, what's the solution? How do I correct it? Well, it's not always the easiest thing to do, but it's still what we should strive for. When I'm at this position here, in the next to last step, and my left toe is still on the ground, I should try and push that toe straight forward without lifting it off the ground, like so. And I should try and push it right underneath my chin for good balance. So let's see if I can try that and practice it as I throw a shot. Now remember, what I want you to watch for as I throw this shot is watch my left foot and see if I keep that foot on the ground all the way through the slide. Here we go, and I'm ready to start. And you can see, there's the slide, and the left toe wasn't on the ground all the way through perfectly, but I'll take it. So remember, push that slide through all the way with your left toe on the ground, underneath the chin for good balance. And if you're still having trouble, be sure and see your local PBA pro, and join us 3 weeks from today in Dublin, California, where we'll have another average builder.
To Denver, Colorado, Mike Shady and Curtis Odom will be paired up in game number 2.
You call Pizza Hut?
Yep.
Good thing they deliver.
Yep.
Though if Pizza Hut didn't deliver, I guess we could call that other place.
What other place?
Call Pizza Hut Delivery for the new Italian Classic Combo Pizza, packed with Italian sausage and pepperoni. One medium's $8.99, a second's just $4 more.
Time for game? No thanks. I guess people just don't like Domino's anymore.
Guess not.
Pizza Hut Delivery, making it great.
When you're looking good, you want Bud Light. The clean, fresh taste won't fill you up. and never lets you down.
Well, you can taste it, you can feel it, you know you got it right. Everything else is just the same. Just keep your bad lines out.
Look at the top players we've netted for the French Open. The French Open, the world's grittiest tournament. The French Open, anyone can win. The French Open. Get caught up in the Grand Slam excitement. Coverage starts Memorial Day at 9 Eastern live on ESPN.
Mike Shady, the survivor of game number 1 against Curtis Odom here in match number 2 in Denver, Colorado.
And we're looking for our first 200 as the first game didn't produce one.
No, the final there, 184 to 173. Of course, it's a bit of a payback because Brian Goebel defeated Mike Shady last year in Tucson when he went right up the ladder and captured his first ever title at Golden Pin Lane.
That's true, he did. Shady leaves the 8-pin on the first shot, what they say is the only true tap in bowling. Again, I never really believed that. I thought there were a lot of taps.
Well, I wonder if he got tapped in that 299 game last night. As I mentioned, he had one 5-game stretch where he averaged 256 and won all 5 matches. That's why he ended up on the telecast here this afternoon.
Well, 3 out of his last 4 games, he shot 268, 299, 256. So.
And the player who started with the first 10 in the position round last night, Curtis Odom, solidified his position in the championship round with a brilliant game last night in game number 42.
And Curtis in practice was going back and forth between this blue ball and a pink ball and told him he had to get his thing color coordinated.
Comes out, ball hangs, and not the way you want to start frame number 1.
The 1, 2, 6, 10, and again we see the characteristic of this pair that when you hang it over the lip, as he switches to the pink ball immediately for the spare. Doesn't make it back on lane 62. Yet we know you can go high as Goble missed the hip in on the left. So.
No spare in the first, and so Odom trails by 12.
Curtis holds the ball down right at his side. Talk to him about that. He says he does this because he's comfortable with it. Control in the swing there. Kind of bobs up and down and weaves up there. Nice long slide. Very short backswing, and he's very accurate and very gutty.
A runaway freight train as he misses the head pin left. So,
boy,
it's
we're seeing
a magical mystery tour right now.
I'll tell you what. We're getting some wild things here as Curtis throws the ball over about the 7th board, trying to get it to about the 3rd, and the ball's just going left right away. This blue ball hooks more than the pink ball for him, and he's got a tough spare here.
Comes out firing, needs the break, and he gets it. Top start for Curtis Odom, who's just kind of hanging on right now to stay close.
And Danny, you wonder how long these guys are going to stay with this outside line that is so critical that if they throw it wide, it's a washout, and if they're left, they miss the head pin on the left. I mean, why not try someplace else on the lane?
Well, you've got to have a B game, right?
I would think so.
Haven't seen it yet. Shady once again playing about the 2 board. Messenger comes around, falls a bit short, and he leaves the 10 pin.
Well, I guarantee you when we get to the left-handers in the top 2 positions, these guys are going to have to do more than just get spares in order to win that match.
It appeared in the practice session as if both John Mazza and also Parker Bohn III had effective shots not only in but also out. So you're right. Whichever right-hander gets to the championship game or even to the semifinal better be prepared to throw some more strikes.
Shady makes the spare easily. He's leading by 11 pins, but right now, with the way these 2 players are performing on this championship pair, any lead is precarious.
Started his collegiate career at the University of Wisconsin lacrosse in 1985 and promptly won the national championship, then transferred to Nebraska.
Wins the national championship and then transfers.
Yep. One more of a challenge, I guess, huh? Another 10 pin, this time a solid 10. It would appear as if Shady, though, has made the intricate little moves on this championship pair. At least he's hitting the pocket on both lanes.
Well, at least the first 3 shots, he's got all 3 in the pocket, but no strikes.
Yeah, but 9 counts look pretty good as compared to 6 and 7s.
Especially with some of these configurations that the players are leaving.
Maybe a geometry major to figure out how to pick up some of these things. What happened to the good old days when you used to bowl when it was either a washout or 4-9?
4-9?
Curtis Odom, who would love to forget the first 2 frames and move on
from here. Just from that. Miss the hip hit on the right and miss it on the left.
We'll find out. You miss it on the left on the right-hand lane. Let's see if he misses it on the right on the left-hand lane. Can't play out there, Mike, right now.
That's what I would think, Dan. That's all I can think of. If I were out there bowling right now, I just think I got to do something totally different. Because what I got out here, it's just not working. Curtis threw that first shot. Boy, he just shakes his head. My family always used to tell me how many times I did that. So.
A rather ominous sign.
Yeah.
Down by 11. He's still close. Haven't seen a strike here in game number 2.
My wife used to be able to walk in the bowling center and look at me, and if I had my hand in my pocket as I was coming back, she knew I was struggling.
That was it. Curtis goes back with a lighter colored ball and a flush strike.
He says the pink ball matches my shirt. I'm going to use it.
Mike Shady by 11.
Curtis, right over about the first arrow, swinging it out to the second or third board. Much better reaction. I don't think we'll see the blue ball again.
A little more speed on the right-hand lane for Shady this trip, and he was fortunate to catch a light hit.
Well, the light hit seems to be carrying better than anything else right now when he gets it in her.
Parker Bohn III has qualified number 2 and John Mazza number 1, but 2 of the ladies that were instrumental in bringing this event here and doing such a marvelous job are on hand to watch.
Regina is the manager and Veronica is the assistant manager here at Celebrity. Shady says that light hit works pretty well, Dan.
I think I'll stick with it. A sight for sore eyes. A double here in game number 2.
Curtis Odom trailing by 21 with Mr. Shady seeming to have figured this pair out. He's got to get his act together, too.
Beautiful comeback shot. And you could just see the expression on his face. Is it going to hold? Is it going to strike? And what it did, it was like, all right, now let's just go back to one shot at a time as he calls for a re-rack.
Switches to that pink ball on the right lane also. Over the first arrow, out to about the third board. And it makes you wonder, you know, when you make these decisions sometimes which ball to use, why did he ever think of the blue ball at all?
Well, it was one that he used all week. It's one he used in the practice session. He had a pretty good reaction. The lanes have changed.
Well, he actually threw the pink ball in practice more than he did the blue.
Maybe he's colorblind.
He'd be in trouble, wouldn't he?
Oh, he needs it for 3 in a row, and Curtis Odom shakes him up a little bit. And he's come back from behind. And today, 31 years after this multi-million-dollar facility opened, they have 80 lanes, 300 video games, and a beautiful swimming pool.
The Windsurfer from Citizen ProMaster. Rotating compass bezel. Auto-repeat fixed timer.
I can't believe that's really you up there.
Citizen ProMaster. For professional use only.
This bench gets a professional finish with Krylon spray paint. No runs, no drips, no errors. Dries to the touch in minutes. The other brand's still tacky. Wow! What a game!
Good game, Mr. Euchre.
Hey, she's a lot tougher than she looks. For a fast, smooth, professional finish, get Krylon.
ESPN Home Video presents the perfect Father's Day. First, show Dad how you really feel about him. Give him a big hug. Get him a tie with matching gloves and a little something to wet his whistle. And for dinner, serve him the catch of the day with extra stuffing. If your dad's a good sport, give him the best sports. Only on ESPN Home Video. Available at Sears. Your money's worth and a whole lot more.
way. Mike Shady left the 2-8, and he missed it. So he's down now by 13. Strong shot, though, coming back. The question now is, Curtis Odom was dead lost for 3 frames, and now he looks like he owns this pair. What happened?
Well, he switched bowling balls then, and plus, I think it points out an interesting thing about his character. He was able to not be embarrassed by those first 3 frames and to just totally put him out of his mind and behind him and concentrate on the job at hand. I mean, to me, that's a mark of a real professional. And has to hurry.
Shot that kind of holds, and he gets a break as the 10-pin is kicked down at the very last moment.
See, that's why he didn't use the pink ball originally, because if he throws it one board to the right, it just doesn't make it back. If he hits his target perfectly with the right lift and turn, he's in the pocket, but it takes a good quality shot.
And this is no gimme.
It's not the most difficult spare in the world, but 1-2-8.
Nice conversion.
Perfect. But it keeps the match within 10 pins exactly. Shady's still right there. And 1 errant shot on the right lane. And we got an overhead look at the 1-2-8 as he hits the head pin on the left. Ball hit all 3 pins. You can't fail then, Den.
Curtis took a quick look at the score to find out just exactly where he stands as he shoots now in the 8th. Boy, he liked that the moment that it left his fingertips. A very likable guy, too. I mean, he has some fun. He competes, but he really enjoys what he's doing.
Oh, he's just a very enjoyable person to be around. Curtis throws it. Felt perfect coming off. And says, I know it's going to strike.
Now, Shady double to tie the match.
Oh, yeah.
All of a sudden, this one is really turned around, Michael.
And we're heating up. We got an even match with 2 frames to go, and guys are throwing it better every frame, Dan.
Maybe it just took them a little while to settle down, find the road map. Got a few chuckles out there this afternoon. Some orange barricades.
Being from the Midwest, we're familiar with that, aren't we?
Yeah, May 1st, they bring all those out. Well, Shady with a couple of doubles. Would love to see a 3-bagger stand. And he's got it. Kicks out the 10. These 2 professionals really have shifted in to a whole other gear.
And it's just a different atmosphere. Suddenly now they know what the ball's going to react, and they're confident and feel like they're going to strike. Key shot, though, for Curtis is right now, because this is his tough lane. If he strikes here, sets him up for the 10th frame, we could have a very exciting finish.
And we could have a tie.
234 possible for both of them if they both strike out. Will it hold? Brooklyn! Oh! When in doubt,
pull it out. Pull it left. Do anything you can. You could see, though, that the apprehension is there. And you mentioned it. If he throws it a board or 2 right with that ball in the right-hand lane, it's not going to finish. So there's a tendency to get that chicken wing special going, and you start giving it the Yankee Doodle. A shot that you were famous for.
Thanks, Dan.
I had to say it.
I knew it was coming.
I won't say it anymore this summer.
For the lead. It's really swung that one wide. And there's the 2-8-10.
Just what we were talking about. Paid the price, but he missed by a board or 2, Mike. You could tell.
Dan, 3 times on television. A couple years ago in Tucson, last year in Wichita, the same thing came up. The 2-10 or the 2-8. He's left this shot. What happens is the slide gets a little short, and the quality of the release is not as heavy on the fingers, and the ball doesn't make the reaction that he wants.
Curtis went over to check the score. Our television coordinator, Chuck Pisano, keeping score, and I think he was looking to find out what kind of count he wants to come up with. Does he go for the make or just try and get the count? Well, he finishes with a game of 199, a crucial, critical open in the 10th frame.
And Mike Shady is in the position, same one he was in the first game, needs a mark in order to win.
And if memory serves me correctly, he threw a Brooklyn.
Tripped the 6 the last time. High again. Well, went with the Brooklyn again, but leaves only the 9-pin. If my addition is right, I think that's enough right there. Yeah, he's got enough to win right now. Mr. Shady is going to go on to face Parker Bohn.
Shady coming back with a double, and then missing the 2-8 in the 6th, and then a 3-bagger. Curtis Odom just couldn't quite come up with the shot that he needed in the 10th frame. And Mike Shady will advance. And for Curtis Odom, he'll have to come back another day in search of that first professional title. He led the tournament a couple of years ago in Atlantic City. He'll win before it's all over. But right now, it's Shady and Parker Bohn III in our semifinal game here from Denver, Colorado.
So how's your cousin's new car?
Oh, yeah, my cousin's new car.
Yeah.
He picked it up last week.
All right.
Big celebration.
Yeah?
I felt like a jerk telling him he should take a taxi home because he had one too many.
But you did.
No, I didn't.
What happened?
Totaled.
What?
Yeah, and him with it.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Take the keys. Call a cab. Take a stand. Friends don't let friends drive drunk.
Now is the time to learn to scuba dive with the professionals from the Bainbridge Sportsman's Club and Dive Shop. Centrally located between York, Lancaster, and Harrisburg, Bainbridge Sportsman's Club has a complete dive shop and teaches diving in area pools. Open water instruction is only $250. Private classes and dive trips are available. Call for information at 426-2114. That's 426-2114. The Bainbridge Sportsman's Club. Call now.
If it hadn't been for a 140 game in game number 41, David Oziel may have been shooting for his 4th title here today.
And he finished his 6th. He's our leading money winner. He's fishing partner, Wunderlich, in 7.
George Branham III in 8th, and David D'Entremont in number 9.
Purvis Granger, Danny Wiseman.
Take a look at the rest of the top 24. Tom Kreitz and Ted Fraley.
And Mike Scroggins, nice left-hander, Philip Ringener.
The legend, Harry Sullivan, 16th. Kenny Johnson, number 17.
And Robert Glass and Bob Hanley, 18 and 19.
Wayne Chester, Scott G. Myers, a local pro from the Denver area. As we round out the top 24, Robert Lawrence, Dave Husted, and the gentleman who led this event after the first 2 rounds, Brad Kazuski.
Interesting how things change sometimes and you drop.
Parker Bohn III, Mike Shady will be matched up here in the semifinal game when we return to Celebrity Sports Center in the Mile High city of Denver, Colorado.
Competitors know that it takes power to score. Power in your approach. Power in your equipment. Witness the devastating result of premium urethane charged with a secret additive and explosive high-energy impact for better corner carry. Even arc. More hook. The perfectly matched 2-piece ball. The U2 from Columbia 300.
Dad,
Yeah.
where do babies come from?
Under specific ovulatory circumstances, a male-female interface may generate an incipient life form that over a 9-month...
At the Prudential, we believe some things can't be explained with a lot of fancy talk. So when it comes to life insurance,
Should I explain that once more?
we won't let you get it until you've got it. Your piece of the rock.
The time has finally come for the cordless power roller from Wagner. Now you control the flow of paint. So the Wagner power roller can cut jobs in half. Smoothly and evenly, it can cover areas twice as fast. And cleanup is a snap. So you can finish one job and do another. Get your hands on the real value, because the value of Wagner keeps on rolling.
Family. They're my most important priority. So I had my attorney set up a trust, and I manage my trust investments myself at Schwab. Low commissions, no annual fee. Now, if something happens to me, my family is taken care of, the way I've arranged. Haven't lost my touch. Neither has she.
We give you more ways to succeed.
The new M&M boys, Moss and Mattingly, lead the Yankees. Boston's Killer Beans, Boggs, and Brunansky power the Red Sox. Old rivals meet when the Red Sox face the Yankees, leading off an ESPN Memorial Day triple header.
Five-time titleist Parker Bohn III out of Freehold, New Jersey. We'll match up now with Mike Shady. And after watching the practice shots of Parker Bohn III, if I were Mike Shady, I would come out striking.
If he can. I'm sure he wants to.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he'd love to start with about the first. And he does start with a strike on the same side that Parker would normally throw it, on the Brooklyn.
Interesting thing about Mike's game is that backswing goes behind his back quite a ways, and it's hard to do that the same every time.
That one comes off rolling nicely. A solid strike on lane 62 for the young, strapping left-hander.
And I asked Parker earlier this afternoon, I said, well, what is it? How come 2 championship round appearances in a row? What's the difference? He said, Mike, really no difference. He said, confidence is a little higher. It's back to where I was winning last year. He said, but I'm not doing anything really differently. I've just kind of made it through the lull in the storm and now hit the eye of the needle, so to speak.
And he's ready to go on a little streak here. Walked right away from that one the moment he threw it. He started the week, Mike, with a 290 in game number 1. That's the way you'd like to start an event.
I never did, so I don't know.
90 into the black very quickly. Mike Shady with a strike in the first one. Like to double up and tie the score.
Nice shot.
Cool customer, this Mike Shady.
For such a young person, yeah, 25 years of age. And that college experience must really help these young guys out.
Well, the collegiate game is growing so quickly. I really had a lot of fun this year down in Columbus. I had an opportunity to work at the national finals down there and get a chance to look at some of the players throughout the country, and they're turning them out one after another. And they're quality players. They're able to come right out on the national tour, both the men's and the ladies' tours, and compete. Shot rolled out a little bit. Shady's just trying to maintain some pace with Parker Bohn III.
I really like his tempo, Dan. He gets up there, and neither one of these players take any time. This game is going to be over in a heartbeat if they keep striking like this. But he just gets up there and really zips right through it and makes quality shots time after time. Really lifted that one. Ooh, he's the solid 8-pin.
6-pin was there for just a fraction of a second.
Parker switches balls at the spare for one that's going to go straighter. Most of the pros go hard and straight at the spares. Parker, very pretty bowler here. Pushes the ball and steps at the same time. Head is steady. Backswing over the head. Now watch the long slide. Arm out to the right, good balance, and that follow-through whistles right past his ear. The left leg over for balance. Woo!
Oh, wait a minute. Territory that Mike Goebel has been unfamiliar with. That ball was on the 1/4 board and came back to strike.
I think he thought he had 0 on this, and he wound up with 10. Watch this ball at 45 feet. Right there. Ooh.
Defying the laws of gravity. And then the light slasher coming back.
Parker's reaction.
He knew he got away with one. Shady trying to stay perfect. And he gets an unlucky break. The 5-pin danced around the 7, but didn't take it out.
He stays cool, though. He won 3 games in a row on the telecast a couple of weeks ago and lost in the title match and was up in that match. John Mazza got 2 Brooklyns in that to put some pressure on him, and he opened a couple of times.
It's interesting. Those are 2-year numbers. When Mike came out, he said, I'm going to give it 3 years. I'm going to take a look at the financial picture at the end of 3 years, see where I am in terms of my play, where I stack up against the best players in the world. It's a money-making proposition, and I can compete and win. I'll stay out there. If not, I'm going to find a college and go back and get my MBA in business. Pretty unique approach.
Pretty mature approach, I would say, Dan. I mean, keeping the ego out of it, which is hard to do. That ego comes into play with us in bowling, and we identify with how we do in bowling.
ahead by 10. Nearing the midway point of the semifinal game. Tries to dance out the 4-pin and can't quite get that accomplished.
Hanging right there, though. Keeps filling the frames. It puts pressure on Parker to strike. With the spare conversion, Shady will lead by 9. Parker will have an opportunity to take the lead when he steps up on lane 62. Mike throws straight at most of the spares. Right at the 4-pin. Makes it easily.
Shady now 5-2 in championship round play.
Oh, way out there again, and it makes it back again. Woo!
I know one thing. His parents, his wife Mary, and Parker the Fourth aren't going to make it through this show if he continues to play that fraction board. Oh,
Eddie,
no. A young Salvino?
Yes, he hikes the pens.
Or was it Palmer? I don't know. Right now, Parker having some fun out there, but he is living dangerously. Boy, he's fired up right now and throwing some beautiful shots. Parker Bohn back on top. He now leads by 11. We told you about the water slides. Where's Mike Durbin? He's got to be in there somewhere. He's the one with the polka dot shorts. We'll be back after this.
Hey, buddy, want to make $1 million the easy way? You could step into the ring. You could dabble in junk bonds. Or you could play the HBO TV Guide Quest for the Best Game. Play daily in TV Guide and nightly on HBO. So hold on to that game card for your daily chance to win over 8,000 cash prizes. Play the HBO TV Guide Quest for the Best Game and make your first million the easy way.
Do we ever? We make all kinds of business loans for all kinds of purposes. We have 55 lending officers. We are unique in that our loan officers in a branch office will also make business loans and corporate-type loans. We also have had very little turnover among our lending staff. At Farmers First, you don't get a new lending officer every 2 years.
And just around the corner, coverage of the 1991 French Open on ESPN. 11 days of coverage. And we'll give you an idea of when you can start to watch Monday, all the way through Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, week number 2, Monday through Thursday. Of course, the semifinals on Friday. So all the action from the red clay courts.
And how will the Americans do this year?
Good question. It's anybody's ball game in that event, though. Slower surface. Ball bounces nice and high.
And Mike Shady bowling a very professional game. Just had 3 bad breaks in a row with a 7-pin and a 4-pin and now a 9-pin.
Trailing by 12 in the match. Parker Bohn working on a 3-bagger.
The trouble, thoughts going through Shady's mind, though, is even though he's throwing the ball well and hitting the pocket, he knows that Parker, unless he gets a bad break, is going to keep on striking, and you fall further and further behind when you only get those spares.
Just past the midway point. Opened with 3 in a row, and since that time, it's hit the pocket 3 shots in a row and just hasn't been able to carry. And he's back on task with a bit of a can opener on lane 61.
A little clenched fist there. I mean, he certainly hasn't given up. 12 pins down. Parker, though, can take command of this match with a couple of strikes here.
Shady's thinking to himself, I can shoot game in the 250s, and it might not be enough.
Wow, again. Right to that edge. I thought that was going in. He knows it's not, though. I mean, he's very confident throwing that shot. Leaves the 7-pin, keeps Shady in the match. Spare conversion, he's going to be up by only 11 pins.
Hard and straight. If I might make a point here, that is a shot that's similar to what the right-handers had throughout most of the week. They were fearless. They played the half board all of last night and came back and threw a lot of strength. They play the half board here this afternoon, and they're going to see the long straight board.
8th frame, Parker leading by 11.
Beautiful shot on lane 61, and Parker Bohn just hammering the pocket right now.
You know, everybody couldn't figure out all year long how Parker Bohn was just not winning or in the championship round because he just has so much talent. Big shot coming up for Mike Shady. Can cut that lead to 1 pin.
Trying to keep some pressure on. Cut it a little bit short and left the baby split. That could be the story this week for Mike Shady.
Well, he's still in the match if he can make the spare den. He's got to make the 310. Just with inside, didn't have the courage to trust that shot out where it had to get. And the tendency then is to set it a little bit short, steer it up to that pocket.
Perfect. Follow through almost looked like an old Coco Johnson follow through. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
That was interesting. And Holly Durkin, the general manager of Celebrity Sports Center, on hand to watch the televised finals. She had some fun last night. We had a wild position round finish last night because Parker started with the first 10 on one pair, Curtis Odom with the first 10 on another pair, and the fans were hooting and hollering.
Oh. You know, that happened to him in the championship game down in Fresno a couple of weeks ago. He left the pocket 7-10. And here at a most inopportune time, we see this almost every week anymore on the PBA Tour in the championship rounds. The head pin goes in front of the 7, and the 5 pin just didn't make it over there. He's thinking it's going to strike. Instead, he's staring at it open.
Hard and straight, try and double bounce it. The disaster pops up and rears its ugly head in the 9th frame for Shady, who can best now shoot a game of 214.
And Parker is in tremendously commanding position. Very little time. Sends it out. Well, he's got to make this then. It's not over yet. The 2-4 and the 8.
That's the first shot that we have seen him cut off a little bit short.
Well, it was almost like he was thinking in his mind, well, the only thing that can beat me is if I throw it in the gutter, and I'm not going to do that.
Mm-hmm. An aggressive shot at the spare, and this young man right now is just flat getting after it.
Still needs a mark in this 10th frame, though, to salt this one away. At least 9 pins on the first ball.
So Mike's checking right now. Let's see, what does Parker need to shut me out? If he doesn't do that, I got to be prepared to do this.
Well, 8 needs one of these down. One of these, and he's a winner.
Well, the last couple of shots have come up high. Is that because lanes might be breaking down a touch, or is the speed just a little bit less?
I just think it's the situation of the game, that he didn't want to throw it in the channel and played it a little cozy. He wouldn't send it out like he did earlier. Just a mental thing.
Shady will end up 3rd, collect $7,000, and there you see the shrug of the shoulders, realizing that another week has gone by without a victory. But along with Curtis Odom, I just can't believe it's going to be very long before one of those two guys comes up a winner and heads to Akron in the Firestone Tournament of Champions.
Well, Mike's a very promising young player. He looks like he's got his game together. He's got his mind together. Make that championship round 2 out of 3 weeks. It's got to make you feel good. 2nd and 3rd is still good paychecks.
226 for Parker Bohn, who had a double and a 3-banger to post that score. Sure. Now the messenger comes over and takes out the 10.
And the 7 and the 10 go down. I'll tell you, if he strikes in that 9th frame with that 7-10, he could have been in a position on this shot to win the match. course, Parker's mental approach might have been different then, too.
I got to believe he'd have been much more aggressive in the 9th and the 10th if he knew he had to strike to win. Good game, though. Very good game. Both players coming out and doing what they had to do to get to the championship game. But it would appear as if two left-handers will vie for the title here at Celebrity Sports Center. And Mike Shady finishes at 2:04, so it's 2:26, 2:04. Parker Bohn with just one more player in his way. That, of course, the top seed, John Mazza. We'll be back with more right after this.
Do you know what open-end mutual funds are?
The Wall Street Journal Guide to Understanding Money and Markets tells you in clear, simple English.
Do you know how to spot trends in stocks?
And what stock options are?
And zero coupon bonds?
And the difference between Treasury bills and Treasury notes?
Everything you want to know about the sometimes baffling world of money and investing is in this remarkable 120-page book. And now it's yours free when you subscribe to the Wall Street Journal. Call now and you can have 13 weeks of the Wall Street Journal and this valuable 120-page Guide to Understanding Money and Markets. That's 13 weeks of the Journal for the news and ideas you need every business day. And this guide free, which tells you everything you want to know about money and markets, all for only $37, a 24% savings off the newsstand price. Call now, toll-free, 800-332-1800. That's 800-332-1800 for today's Wall Street Journal.
Hey, that's not us. We're down here. We're Daihatsu from Japan, and we're new in the neighborhood. So you haven't seen a lot of Daihatsus here. Not yet. But as word spreads about Daihatsu quality, we'll grow bigger. And we won't get a stiff neck from looking up at the neighbors.
With our Charade 3-door hatchback, Daihatsu quality starts from $63.97.
Lou Diamond Phillips is Mitchell Osgood. To write the perfect thriller,
Tell me that this is fiction.
he entered the mind of a murderer.
Help me get this nightmare behind me.
Only now, he can't get out.
What are you doing?
It's too late. Ambition, rated R. Starts Friday, May 31st at theaters everywhere.
Championship Frame is brought to you by Midas. Nobody beats Midas. Nobody. Well, the scores weren't exactly high in game number one, but it did come down to the 10th frame.
And Mike Shady was in the position that he needed some kind of mark in the 10th frame. Afraid to send it to the right. He cuts it a little short left, but you got to pull it, get it over enough to get that Brooklyn strike, and he trips out the 6-10 and gets the fortunate break to win the first match over Brian Goebel. His reaction is, well, thank you.
I'll take it. Nobody will know 10 years from now that was a Brooklyn. 184 to 173. Shady defeated Goble in game number one. Then it was on to take on Curtis Odom, our number 3 seed, and this was the key shot, also in the 10th frame.
Well, Curtis had just gotten a break with a strike in the 9th frame, but sometimes those breaks come for the good, and sometimes they come the other way around. As he sends this one really wide, comes in light, leaves the 2-8-10, and Curtis has a history of making this exact same shot under pressure situations in the past. More or less handed the match to Mr. Shady at this point.
Well, you could see Curtis reaching out and hoping for a few more revolutions that didn't happen. 212 to 199. So Shady had won 2 consecutive matches, and that was our first 200 game of the championship round. Then to the semifinal, it was Shady this time in the 9th frame.
And he needed this strike badly. Made a quality shot, working on a strike. We've seen this before. Ball goes in the pocket and leaves that pocket 7-10. And that more or less put Parker Bohn in the real driver's seat to win match number 3 and go on to bowl John Mazza for the title.
226 to 204. So there are only 2 players left in this one in Denver, Colorado. And one of them right now is practicing warming up, John Mazza.
Well, we were talking before the show, Dan, and I was saying that my pick to win this championship game was going to be Parker Bohn over John Mazza, and you said you were going with numero uno.
Well, you know, I just have a feeling that you get to a certain point in your career and a certain point in your life where you start to make shots and take care of opportunities. And I think that's exactly where John Mazza is right now. He won just 2 weeks ago from the top seed position and didn't bowl a particularly good game.
Well, that's one reason why I'm going with Parker Bohn to win this.
Well, we talked earlier to John Mazza about the difference this year in his mental approach to bowling on the tour, especially in the championship round, and this was his response. What was the past year?
Well, Denny, like I said before in earlier telecasts, Dr. Hugh Bray, who's been working with me for about 3 years now, has really helped me. I was out thinking myself, and I was doing a lot of thinking up on the approach. And instead of just thinking before I get up and then throwing the shots. And that was a big key for me. I had to learn how to do that because I'd be up there thinking, come on, now, do this, do that, you know, and it really just messed me up. So now I'm just thinking about what I want to do and doing it. And it's really simple that way.
Boy, if it could be that easy, let's see if he can keep it very simple and win his third title of the year, joining Pete Weber and Dave Ozio as the only three-time winners on the PBA Tour this season.
For 35 years, Midas has been providing quiet, installing quality products for clean, safe, and quiet driving. Well, it's time we made some noise. Midas announces Quiet Riot Day. We're celebrating our anniversary with great values on quality muffler, brake, and suspension services. Guaranteed. So get to the riot, and we'll provide the quiet. The Midas Quiet Riot. For great values, nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
You don't have to worry when rain keeps pouring down, 'cause you're home to take it, whatever comes around. We got something here to get you through the years.
Olympic Oil Stain has pure linseed oil. Since oil and water don't mix, it helps stop water damage.
It's no wonder we'll stop the rain.
Olympic stops the rain.
Heart. Desire. No crybabies allowed. And you gotta be willing to take a face full of dirt. It's all-out baseball.
It's gone.
The nation's top teams dig in for the NCAA College World Series starting May 31st live on ESPN.
And right from the College World Series to Major League Baseball on ESPN, my hometown team, the Cleveland Indians, take on the Milwaukee Brewers. 8 o'clock coming up Eastern Time. Exclusive national coverage as well. And you'll be watching plenty of Major League Baseball on ESPN all summer long. And, of course, Mike, if it happens in Major League Baseball, you'll see it on ESPN.
Of course. And, of course, you've been rooting for the Indians for a long time.
That's right. All the way since 1953. The Bell Atlantic Classic Cadillac Senior PGA Tour live from the Manor Country Club in Malvern, Pennsylvania comes up next live on ESPN. And the Hill brothers, Jim Faree playing very well in that one. Lee Trevino having a chance to win as well. So you want to stay tuned for senior action on ESPN coming up next. All right, down to the final two. The two lefties that qualified for the championship round. And both of them look like they want to win.
Well, I was thinking that Lee Trevino doesn't seem as hungry this year, but both of these players are very hungry for the win tonight.
Ooh, good break for Parker Bohn.
Well, maybe something has come up different for Parker. He went high in the 9th and 10th, and now suddenly he couldn't go light before. He threw it to the edge, and it always came back. Leaves the 3-pin. Could have had a split there.
Pretty big games bowled by these two gentlemen. Of course, the 288 game shot by Parker last night meant nothing because Mazza was over 400 pins ahead after 41 games. That's the kind of lead you like to take into the position round.
And it starts with a re-rack right away in the first frame. Usually the players will save those re-racks for when they're working on a strike. He only gets 2. He's used up 1. Playing the inside angle.
Flush City on the right-hand lane, so we've got Parker playing way outside and John Mazza just the reverse on the inside.
Very interesting, isn't it? 4-step approach, pushes and steps at the same time. Ball's pretty much in time. A little early, goes high backswing here. Now the short pivot step and the nice long slide. Playing that oil line inside. right flush in the 1-2 pocket. Wants that quick double to get ahead. And the 3-5-6. What probably happened on that, the feet were a little quick at that time, and the ball just kind of squirts off your hand, and you don't get that quality release where your fingers really catch it, and the ball doesn't make it back.
And the trick is knowing that that's what you did as opposed to the lane might be a little tighter.
That's right. He should have been able to feel that coming off his hand. At the spare, and has it. Watch John comes up light here. See, that 1 pin has to hit the 3 in order to strike. Comes around the back and gets the 9 pin out of there. Or he could have had the bucket. Parker, heavy lift.
He got a handful on that shot. At the bottom of the swing, he had all ball.
See, that's the difference between that shot and the one that Mazza threw. Parker caught that with full finger lift at that time. Yeah, we see the difference here, you know. Parker striking 5 times on lane 61. Only 3 on lane 62.
Double here puts him ahead in the championship match.
This is his favorite of the 2 lanes.
Wow. Boy, he's making adjustments. You can see him much more direct. It looks like he's moved his feet to the left on this pair, but that one hooked immediately.
Well, it just looked to me like he didn't want to send it, didn't want to trust it on this left lane. I mean, it could be that he hasn't won this year, and we may have 2 guys pressing just a little bit here.
Another spare up for Parker. Match is even. Mazza now in the 3rd.
Mazza up and gone in a heartbeat.
Well, he likes the right-hand lane, no question about that. And Saturday Night Thunder coming your way on ESPN beginning at 7:30 Eastern Time with Speed Week. And then you see the rest of the schedule. Big race coming up on Monday. Big weekend for sports.
Big weekend, period.
Oh, my. A big double coming back right at you, and Mazza steals the 10-pin lead.
Well, I tell you, he earned it with that shot. Where he didn't get the lift, you know, back in the 2nd frame, he caught it all with that shot.
So you think he recognized what happened?
Well, I think he was just a little nervous that first time, and he settled down there and made the shot he's been making all week.
Parker trying to come back quickly and answer, and you see the ball skidding a little bit. I think you're right. I think the shot has changed for him as opposed to when he first came out.
Well, what might happen is the oil does carry down the lane a little bit. Parker couldn't throw it too wide in that first game. Now he gets it out to that edge board, and he didn't quite make it there, and it doesn't make it all the way back. Flirting with the 3-7 as the 3-10 as it is. Not a very difficult spare, and he shows us why.
Now he'll have to make the necessary adjustment on this championship round pair if he hopes to maintain pace with John Mazza.
Mazza's got it go. It'd be interesting to see whether Parker would move inside where John is.
In practice, he said he had a very good shot inside, but he's obviously opted to play the championship round outside of the 5 board.
Made the adjustment there.
2 of the finest young left-handed players on the PBA National Tour going at it right now for the championship of the Celebrity Denver Open. Mazza continues to play that little fallback shot. Ooh, boy, has he got a sweet shot inside.
Especially on that right lane where the ball just seems to hold pocket all the way down there. 22 pins ahead. Can be really in command of this match with one more strike and force Bohn to just start striking, maybe say it's sayonara.
John Mazza now will utilize the 2nd and final re-rack here in the championship round on lane 61.
See, the reason he's taking it right now rather than later is he wants to keep that string going right now. And right now, this is the most important shot for him.
Bowling like he did all week long when he built up a lead of over 400 pins against second place. Mazza has just stormed to a 32-pin lead.
And forced Parker to strike. Parker knows that Mazza's probably not going to stop striking unless he puts some pressure on him.
Needing the light hit and didn't get it.
Just not the reaction that he had one game ago, and you're not going to win this game with spares. Parker just falling further and further behind. At the 9-pin. No trouble with the spare, but 30-some pins behind with 4 frames to go, and the other guy totally lined up. It's been done before, but something better change in a hurry.
The amazing thing about his career is he has won all 5 of his titles from the top seed position. He has never advanced further up the stepladder than where he qualified.
You may be thinking about that, you know?
Oh, boy, a dark cloud has just settled over Parker Bohn here in the championship game. Meanwhile, Mazza's swing has to be getting looser and looser.
The 1, 3, 6, 4, 7. See if he crosses over and tries to send the head pin into the 4-7.
4 out of 5, but an open frame crops up in the 7th.
He's saying, next week, it's all over.
Mazza trying to slam the door shut with another perfect strike. Lane 62. He has thrown 4 shots on that lane that are just carbon copies.
And all 10 pins right in the pit, too. Every one of those 4 on that lane have looked just like this one did. Not a bit of difference. Watch this hit. Flush in the 1-2 with the ball, keep rolling all the way through the pins, and all 10 and go right in the pit. Been interesting if he'd have struck in that second frame.
Oh, looking for another one. Just absolutely destroying the racks here on the championship round pair, and it's been a brilliant performance.
Oh, well, he led by 400 pins all week long. He deserved to win the tournament, and he's showing us why he led by that much all week long.
Trying to win this game by 400.
What he's going to do here, Den, too, is Parker finally figures out lane 62, has thrust himself right into the Bowler of the Year picture. I mean, right now it was a battle between David Ozio and Pete Weber, who've also won 3 times this year. But now John Mazza will have won 3 times, and he's got to have his hat right in the ring.
Has, I think now, the same number of match play finals as Pete Weber did. Obviously has done very well in the cash department with the victory. Will end up with 90,000 plus thus far. You're right. The way he's got it going right now, he's liable to go right by those 2.
Well, he's the leader now in championship round appearances. This is number 6 for him, and so a lot of pluses going for John, plus a lot of the year left for him.
The lane he loves so much, and he realizes right now that he is well on his way to winning title number 3 here in 1991. He's already shaking people's hands.
Very impressive performance. I mean, he just had one light swisher in there. The rest of them had all been stuffed. He can go all the way out here for 280.
Arm swing is loose. He's having some fun on the championship round pair. Mazza, I have a feeling, is talking to his fiancée, who he will see next week. I think he's taking the next couple of weeks off.
Besides, winning 2 out of 3 is good enough, huh?
Well,
could have won 3 in a row if he'd
got to have your priorities.
Well,
time to go home and get a couple of other things accomplished. So, boy, what a year for John Mazza. Just goes to show you it can be done with a lot of hard work and effort, and if you seek the right advice and counsel, you too can be in the runner for Bowler of the Year. John Mazza with a game in the 260s.
And he's happy, needless to say.
Well, looks like we'll have plenty of time to chat with our newest champion here on ESPN. Fist raised, Mazza with another win. Parker Bohn now has to just finish out the match, and that's a lonely feeling. But Parker having a little fun as well, saying, geez, if I'd have just carried one more shot. .269 for Mazza, and with a strike, 191 for Parker Bohn. Well, these two went at each other tooth and nail all week long, and each guy shot a big game against the other one, but I guess Mazza wins 2 out of 3 this week at least.
Well, Parker just never could get it going, and Mazza never stopped it going.
Parker with a little shift of the pants doesn't do him any good. 190. A very exciting title for John Mazza, who gets a hug from his fellow left-hander, Parker Bohn III. Mazza the winner here in the Celebrity Denver Open in the Mile High City.
Tears in those eyes, Dan. You see that? A lot of emotion on that face. Like you say, all this hard work has finally paid off for him.
And when we come back, we'll chat with John Mazza, the new winner, and $18,000 richer.
Nothing starts more trouble than dirt. And no air filter stops more dirt than Fram.
Oh, no!
Oh, yeah. Fram, the end of the road for dirt.
A mild case of athlete's foot is one thing. A really tough case, that's something else. The irritating itch, the painful cracking, the burning. That's when you want a medicine that acts tough. Tough-actin Tinactin. Tinactin cures even the tough cases of athlete's foot fungus. And Tinactin's clinically proven. No wonder it's the antifungal most recommended by pharmacists. So when you've got a tough case of athlete's foot, get the medicine that acts tough. Tough-actin Tinactin.
Citizen ProMaster Flight Chronograph indicates 22 time zones. Navigation calculator.
You weren't lying when you said you were a pilot, were you?
Citizen ProMaster for professional use only.
Every second of an asthma attack can feel like an eternity. That's why there's Primatene Mist. Primatene opens clogged breathing tubes, restores free breathing in as fast as 15 seconds. So you're breathing easy in practically no time. Primatene Mist, the fastest type relief known. And for hours of relief, Primatene tablets with the asthma reliever doctors recommend most.
When you play the game, you're looking good. That's the Bud Light way that's understood.
When you're looking good, you want Bud Light. The clean, fresh taste won't fill you up and never let you down.
You can taste it, you can feel it. You know you got it right. Everything else is just right. Just keep your Bud Light shining. Everything else is just right. You got the shine on. Everything else is just
The championship round finals of the $125,000 Celebrity Denver Open have been brought to you by Midas for mufflers, brakes, and shocks. Nobody beats Midas. Nobody. By Fram Oil Filters. Fram, you can pay a little now or a lot later. And by Primatene Mist. Fast relief for asthma attack. Our newest champion, John Mazza, and Michael, he was near perfect here this afternoon.
About as perfect as anybody could be, Dan. Every shot seemed to wind up perfectly in the 1-2 pocket. We're going to look at a couple of them right here. If you saw one, you saw them all, because they all look just about like this one. Flush in the pocket, all 10 pins in the pit. There he is on the other lane, over about that third arrow or somewhere in there. John throwing all of them in there just like this. Well, he got a little different reaction there with the light hit. He carried everything.
All right, Mazza wiping away the perspiration. When we return, we'll talk to our newest champion here on ESPN.
Shine a light on you, shine a light on me. Keep your Bud Light shining for everyone to see.
When you're looking good, you want Bud Light. The clean, fresh taste won't fill you up and never let you down.
You can taste it, you can feel it. You know you got it right. Everything else is just right. Just keep your Bud Light shining. Everything else is just right. You got the shine on. Everything else is just right. You don't
Olympic oil stain has pure linseed oil. Since oil and water don't mix, it helps stop water damage.
It's no wonder we'll stop the rain.
Olympic stops the rain.
And John Mazza, the winner, and to present him with the trophy, Holly Durkin, the general manager of Celebrity Sports Complex.
On behalf of Celebrity Sports Center, I'd like to congratulate you and present you with the winner's trophy. Thank you.
I'd like to thank Holly. It's been a great week. I'm a very fortunate person. I've been blessed with some good health and some ability, and I appreciate you bringing us here again to the tour, and I hope we come here till the year 2000 and then some.
All right, and Regina Lyons, who's the bowling center manager here, has a check for John Mazza.
Congratulations. It's been a real exciting week having everybody back, and you've made it a real exciting finals here. Congratulations.
I'd like to thank Regina. Thank you very much. She told me where to get the Italian food this week in town, and that really helped me. I need that petrol, you know. Italian food really gets me going. But thanks for a great week. This is fantastic. Thank you.
All right, so let's get on to more of the business at hand.
Right.
A tremendous performance for you. I don't think you could have bowled any better. You only threw one errant shot.
I've been asking myself, are you ever going to bowl good on TV? I mean, you got lucky breaks. I threw Brooklyn's, and I wanted to just go out there today and bowl the best game I've ever bowled on TV, and fortunately I did. I mean, it just fell into place.
Of course, you realized you were going to have to come up with some kind of a performance because Parker was throwing plenty of strikes in the semifinal game.
I figured I was toast. But I want to say Parker and I started in '85 together, and he's an incredible person, and he's been an inspiration in my bowling and my life. And just to step on the approach and to compete with him every week is an honor and a thrill in itself.
Michael?
Very gracious, John. John, in practice, it looked like you had a good shot from both inside and outside. And all this week, you played both of those angles. What was the determining factor in making you the choice of playing inside?
I felt like the inside line was going to be a little more stable because Parker and I would have been bowling from both the outside. I think the oil would have moved a little faster, and I opted to stay by myself and go with the stable line. I thought the inside was a more stable line for my game.
Well, obviously, it was the right choice.
Thank you. Well, you got to guess once in a while. Get lucky. That was a lucky guess.
I know that you'd like to talk about the two gentlemen that have really been instrumental in your comeback, Fred Borden and, of course, one of your friends, a doctor back in Detroit.
Yeah, I'd like to personally thank Freddie. I know you're watching. I love you, buddy. You got me here. And Dr. Bray, this is incredible. I mean, these two people helped me out in '88, and we talked. And you mentioned, in fact, John, why don't you go see Fred Borden? And I did, and my whole life it's just turned around for the better. I mean, he taught me how to bowl. He told me how to quit whining and go out and bowl and act like a man and just go up and do the best you can.
All right, very quickly. You've won 3 times here now in '91, and I know that your philosophy is take it one shot at a time, don't get too far ahead, but Mike and I have already chatted about it. You're definitely in the running now for Player of the Year.
Well, that's fine. And I don't know what to do about that because there's like, how many tournaments are left this year? About 15 or so? I like yesterday, we talked about this. I want to do is I just want to go out, and when the last ball's thrown in 1991 and I'm done bowling, tell me where I finished. That's all I care about. That's all.
In other words, don't wake me up until it's over.
Yeah, exactly. Let me sleep through the whole thing. Oh, boy.
Well, you've been a joy to watch. And what about the upcoming events? You're going to bowl much in the next 3 or 4 weeks?
The most important upcoming event, Leslie, is she's watching right now. We got a marriage camp to go to next week, and that's really important. I want to get us off on the right start. And, honey, I love you. And I'll be home soon, about 11:45.
All right, John Mazza, the winner here in the Mile High City with a brilliant performance. So long, everyone. The PBA Summer Tour returns to ESPN on Saturday, June 15th with the championship round finals of the $140,000 Kessler Open live from Earl Anthony's Dublin Bowl in Dublin, California, beginning at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time.